Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. So, I'm going to try and do a very quick roundup of what I read last month. I keep saying that I'm going to do quick videos and then I don't. My videos are always too long, so I'm going to try and keep this short and snappy. If you want to see my full review, thoughts, then I can either do a full individual review on a book or series, or if I've mentioned them in my vlogs, I will just link my vlog playlist down below of what I've read. So I did a thing in June. I did whatever-a-thon, and I can't remember if I took part in any of the readathons. I don't think there was another readathon, but I took on a lot of stuff. So I had acts to read, I had books to promote, and then I had whatever-a-thon. So I'm not going to tell you what prompts I used them for. I'm just going to quickly go through what books I read, and this is in no particular order. It's just as I can grab them, because I'm literally surrounded by books at the moment. So yeah, so the first that we've got is Traitor's Blade. This got a 5-star from me, 5 stars all around. This is by Sebastian de Castell, and it's his adult fantasy series. Follows Falkio, Braste and Kest, who used to be part of the King's Greatcoats, but they was disbanded when the king dies, and Falkio is still adamant that he needs to go and complete one of these final requests from his king to find a treasure, and he feels like he owes it to his king to do this. He's still very loyal to his king, which puts him on the bad side of the dukes, which currently rule a lot of the land, and it is quite political in some parts, which I do really like, because it's not overly jargony and it's not info dumper. I loved Falkio, Kest and Braste as a group, as individuals, as characters, and I cannot recommend this highly enough. I listened to the audiobook alongside this, as I tend to do with a lot of books in general at the moment, not just fantasy, but I would 100% recommend that you pick this up. If you like funny, witty, charming characters, a little bit of depth and rawness and pain and angst between characters, and just well written, well narrated, fun fantasy, I would 100% recommend you check out Traitor's Blade, which is a Greatcoat series, part of the Greatcoat series for Sebastian's adult series, and then the Spellsinger for his YA series. Speaking of Spellsinger, in the month of June I read Spellsinger and Shadow Black. Spellsinger was a reread for me. I literally only read it like last month or the month before, but one of the prompts for whatever-a-thon was a comfort reread, and despite the pain that goes on in this book, I can't help but be comforted by George Jameson's voice. So George Jameson narrates the Spellsinger series and the Greatcoat series. He is brilliant. You can find all the Spellsinger series on BookBeat, but you can only find Traitors, the Greatcoat series, on Audible as far as I'm aware. I've not been able to find that anywhere else, but 100% would recommend these books as well. This is Sebastian's YA series. I also love the covers. There we go, the covers, love them. So Spellsinger series starts following a boy called Kell. He is 15 going on 16, and in his village, or within his people are called the Jantep, and if you want to become a Jantep mage and get your mage's name, you have to go through these trials before you turn 16. You need to spark your bands, pass these trials, and then if you do that with your magic, then you can get a mage's name and you will be welcomed into the loving arms of the Jantep people. If you don't spark your bands, if you are not magical and you fail the trials, then you become a Jantep, which basically are just servants to people who do have magic. It's a very ridiculous society, and it's very much you don't have magic, you're not worth very much, but because that's all Kell's been brought up around, that's what he really wants to do. He's worried that when he's coming up to his birthday and it's getting closer and closer, his magic is fading and he doesn't know why. His sister, who is younger than him, has already sparked a few bands by the beginning of the first book. His dad is like a Jantep mage, like leader, and he gets himself into a bit of trouble. He can talk the talk, he's very good with words and very good at trickery, and he meets Farius, who gets him out of a bit of trouble. And then along the way they meet a squirrel cat called Rikus. And I can kid you not, the voices that George Jameson can do, the personality that he instills in all of the characters, I just absolutely love. So would 100% recommend that series as well. Next up we've got Isola. This is a graphic novel and this is volume 1. I think there's currently only 2 or 3 volumes out. I am going to be getting the second volume of this. This follows a soldier and her queen who has been turned into the cute little tiger. This has also got some LGBTQ plus rep in it, which I wasn't aware of. And so an evil spell has turned the queen into this tiger. Doesn't say why. But we're just following this soldier who's trying to protect her, and obviously not everything goes to plan. I do like the art style in this. You've got your different panels and your different colours, and although I do like black and white graphic novels, when you've got art that's this colourful, you're just absolutely stunning. I love it. The only thing that brought this down for me, which gave it a 4 instead of a 5, was because like the story was great. It's just that some of the panels, there's very little text on it, so you have to interpret what's going on by just looking at the pictures, which seems all fine and dandy and fun and fresh and funky, but sometimes it would be better if you had a bit more text, because sometimes the text is just like, see that text, it's not a word, it's just a thing. And it does the same there as well. It's like when there's a certain expression, it has like really weird text. So yeah, that was slightly confusing at times. I feel like as we go through the series we're going to understand things a bit more. So I do want to get on to the next one. The artwork in this is gorgeous. Colours used, brilliant. So yeah, I'm looking forward to moving on to the next one of them. So next up was one of the books that I read later on in the month. I've literally just finished this yesterday, and this is Cersei, and this follows Cersei, goddess, who is not really liked very much by her kin or her parents for that matter, because she is not what you would call a typical goddess. She's not as beautiful, she's just seen as like a bit of a runt of the family. She finds out that she can do witchery, and she uses her witchery for bad things, and she gets exiled by Helios, who is her father, and Zeus, who have got a very tentative truce between the Titans and the gods of Olympus. But yeah, this is like, I've said this in a couple of videos, this is like slice of life but make it Greek mythology, like with goddesses and gods, because it just follows Cersei over the years and what happens to her when she's exiled. There's nothing, the magic in this is not fantastical, it's not like massive battle scenes, it's just, it is really good. I think I gave this a 3 stars. It's not a new fave, but I enjoyed the plot, I enjoyed the characters. It's just, for me, as much as I enjoyed it and it really has intrigued me about wanting to find more about mythology, Greek mythology, it's not the kind of fantasy that really grips me and would make me give it 5 stars. Like, it doesn't have a 5-star feel kind of vibe, but it was still very good, very well written. Madeline Miller is really, I can't wait to pick up, I'm going to go pick up Songs of Achilles at some point, and I'm going to have a look at some more of her work, because her writing style is so easy to read. I got through this very quickly, and yeah, also it's so pretty. How can you not totally adore this book? Sorry, just saying. And next up, I read this in the latter part of the month, and this is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I cannot say enough amazing things about this. This got 5 stars from me. Once again, I got the audiobook, and some audiobooks have been a fail for me. Very few, but some have been an absolute fail for me. But especially when it comes to Audible, I don't know what it is about the narrators. They've got really calming voices that just know how to tell a story. Just the way that they express the different personalities of these different characters. So this follows Mary Jekyll, who has lost her mum, and she lost her dad years prior. She finds out that her mother was paying £1 a month to the Magdalene Society to look after somebody with the surname Hyde. It kind of says it on the back anyway, so I can tell you this bit. But she ends up finding other people that are like her. It's like the fact their fathers have used them as experiments. So we find Diana Hyde, Beatrice Rappaccini, Catherine Moreau and Justine Frankenstein. These girls all have totally different personalities, and what I do love about this book is that whilst it's basically Catherine Moreau is writing down their story, they're all telling their bits individually, but whilst they're writing they'll all chime in and be like, well, that didn't happen that way, like, why'd you have to write like that? Diana, she is a sassy little bean. She is like a feral child. I just love the whole vibe of this, and I've got the other 2 books and I can't for the life of me remember the titles of the books. Something about a European and a mysterious girl is one of them, I don't know, but I've got the other books. This is the Athena Club series, by the way, and yeah, 100% brilliant, love this. 5 stars. Next up, we are going to do 2 books together, which is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and Take a Hint, Danny Brown. I absolutely loved these books. This is book 1 and 2 in the Brown Sisters trilogy. Not really a trilogy, more of a companion series, but it's, let's just call it a trilogy for the sake of this video. Get a Life, Chloe Brown follows a girl called Chloe, obviously, who has a condition called fibromyalgia. She has a near-death experience and she realises that she has to get a life. So she makes herself a list. And then one of those things is moving out. So she moves out. And the new superintendent of her building is a very hunky redhead called Redford. And it goes from there. It's obviously contemporary romance, so you know what's going to happen, but it's so fun. Once again, audiobook tape, characters, brilliant, 100% recommend. It was just 5-star feels, and this is making me want to go back and read Actually A.G. Brown, because I think that I might end up changing my rating on that. These 2 are just sassy to each other. So this is kind of like a, not an enemies to lovers, because I don't like saying enemies to lovers, because for me, enemies to lovers is like you absolutely despise somebody, like to a point that you want to kill them. Like in some of the fantasy books where you've got to go kill somebody, but then you end up falling in love with them. That's enemies to lovers to me. This is more like, I dislike you very much, I'm very judgmental about you because of where you're from, to friends to lovers. That makes sense? Yeah. Let's just say that makes sense. So Take a Hint, Danny Brown is the second in the trilogy, and this follows Danny, who is a PhD student. She doesn't do relationships. She's a bit of a commitment phobe. She is very work orientated. Getting through her PhD is something that she cares very much about, and she has got no time for relationships, so she separates herself and she practices Wicca. She's a witch, so she asks for the spirits to guide her and get her a friend with benefits. And along comes Zaf. Zaf and Danny are already friends. They're already said from the beginning that they are very attracted to each other. Well, in their own heads they've said they're very attracted to each other. And this has a fake dating trope, which, give me fake dating every day of the week, my friend. Any books that have a fake dating trope that you know of, please leave them down below, because I'm going to gobble them up, because even if it turns out that it's going to be a guilty pleasure read, I'm still going to read it because it's got fake dating in it. So if you have any recommendations, please please leave them down below. But yeah, this was top tier, both got 5 stars from me. Just the whole vibe is a vibe, Next we're gonna have someone that's very disappointing, and this one is said Stephen King. Then it's called Salem's Lot by Stephen King. So this follows Ben Mears, who used to live in this town called Salem's Lot. There's some spooky goings on in this town, and he meets a lovely girl called Susan, and they're trying to figure out what's happening in this town when these very weird characters move in to an old house that was previously known to be inhabited by some very unsavoury characters, shall we say. So this was the first horror that I've read, I think. I might have read horror when I was younger, but it's the first recent horror that I've read. And I absolutely love the fact that it's a brand new edition. But I will be unhauling this because it got a 3 star for me. Or was it a 2 star? I don't know. 2 or 3 star. Because I'll tell you for what, the amount of exposition in this book is ridiculous. We get at least a paragraph for every single person within this town. So many perspectives, even if it's just for a short period. And we spend very little time with the person who this book is supposed to be about and follow, which is Ben Mears. We do see more of him near the end, but it takes about 400 pages to get into any kind of action whatsoever. And that's because they go through every single person in the town and gives you their story that you don't really need to know. And bearing in mind as well, this was written in the 90s, and it's about a small town in America, and it's set in the 70s. So as you can appreciate, their love of women is not fine, nor is it funky or fresh. And just the way that they mention, or the words that they use to talk about people who are queer, I am not a fan of. I fully appreciate that that's how Stephen King writes, and that's how he would have written back in the 90s, and it is based on a small town in the 70s. But it does not make me feel comfortable, and I've been told quite a few of his books are like that. Any of his books that going forward that I hear of that are like that, with his writing style, I'm not going to even touch, because I don't want to actively seek out things that are going to make me feel uncomfortable. But if there are any books out there that are by Stephen King that are good, that don't have that kind of uncomfortable vibe, then please let me know, because I would like to try out another book and see if I like it anymore. Maybe something less homophobic and sexist might be a great place to start. Thank you. Next up, we have Blood Witch. This was a 5 star read for me. I loved it. Follows Edwin. This is the 3rd book in the Truth Witch series, and Truth Witch starts by following Safi and Isolde, who are best friends. Safi is a Truth Witch, and she can be used as a political tool to gain favour. So she keeps her magic a secret, but still a little girl gets herself into some trouble with her best friend, and carnage ensues. Like, they go on a wild ride, and this is fast paced from the get-go. If you like political fantasy, you like magic, you like a bit more of a complex magic system and things like that, but there's a solid magic system, then I would recommend that you check this series out. But if you find it difficult to keep up with multiple perspectives or politics, I would still recommend that you read this series, but maybe tab it up, because a few people were saying that, especially the first one, because it starts off and just you hit the ground running at like 100 miles an hour, they found it difficult to keep up in the first book when they were trying to do the initial world building. So just to forewarn you for that, but that shouldn't put you off reading it, because this series is brilliant. I'm reading Witch Shadow in July, and I just can't wait to be king. So yeah. Next up we have Lost Property by Helen Paris. This was sent to me by Doubleday and bookstagrammars.co.uk.com and bookstagrammars.com to do a book promotion for. So this was one of the books I was sent to do a promotion for, and I actually got around to reading it in the month of June. I really enjoyed this book a whole heckin' ton, as Steph would say. It got a 4 stars from me. It is very much, it follows Dot, who's lost her way in life. She feels guilty about something that's happened, and it sort of hints at the beginning that something's happened that she feels guilty about, and obviously as the story goes on it unravels as to what this is that she feels guilty about. And it's very wholesome. It deals with like family issues, her coming to terms with like being happy within herself. This didn't get 5 stars from me because of a couple of things really. At times the pacing did seem a little bit slow, but it is kind of like a slice of life. You're following a woman through her day-to-day life and her ups and downs and her feelings and stuff, so it's not going to be jam-packed full of action, and I appreciate that, but that's one of the reasons why I didn't get 5 stars. The other was, there's something that happens in this book and a plot line that is like a side plot that sort of happens in this book that I feel that this could have done without. This book stands by itself as the main story, stands alone so well. It didn't need that side plot to make it a good story, because I just enjoyed following Dot and her realisation of the fact that she can be happy again, and you know, shit happens, life happens, but you can't go blame yourself for everything that happens, and her coming to realise that she's worth more than what she thinks she's worth. I loved that whole story, so I don't feel like it needed the extra little side plot that it came with. So for me that was a bit of a negative in the end. So there's that. I'm trying to make it as quick as possible. Obviously we'll do these all together. Heartstopper volumes 1 through 4. These all got 5 stars from me. These are whole-hearted, wholesome, boy meets boy. So you obviously know about this because it's such a hyped series. So this follows Nick and Charlie, and Charlie is openly gay. It didn't come out of his own choice, it was kind of forced upon him, which is something that is addressed in these books. One thing I love about these books is that it addresses mental health issues and eating disorders, such obviously trigger warnings, content warnings for that, but it addresses it in a way that it's just done so well, and it's not a case of something happens and it's immediately fixed, like you wave a magic wand and it's immediately fixed, because that could easily just happen in a contemporary. This could easily happen in any book, to be fair. It shows you, like, honestly, that when something bad happens, like you said, you can't just click your fingers and it goes away. It takes time to heal from things. So we've got like being outed, bullying, sexual assault. I'm going to class that as sexual assault, so yeah. Eating disorders and mental health problems. So I say they're wholesome, but these do pack a punch. They do get you thinking, and they are just really good. I'm going to do these last 2 books really quickly because I'm running out of battery. So Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow was a reread for me, 5 stars. Brilliant. Follows Archie, who finds out his dad's gay and thinks that going to Pride is going to fix everything. So get ready for a cute, fun, friendly, funky time following this little boy's journey, and him and his dad sort of finding the way through to keeping their relationship. It's just a great little wholesome contemporary, and I love it. Fortuna Swan, 2nd book, Restless Slumber. So quickly before my battery dies, so I give this 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It was better than the first book. It just upped it a notch. You will feel pain, you will cry, you will smile very briefly, but this follows Fortuna, who in the first book, it's been 2 years since her brother's gone missing. She's approached by a fairy, a dark fairy, who says, if you marry me, I'll show you where your brother is, and it goes from there. And I felt so much pain, but I can't wait to get to Deadly Dreams, because I tell you, this is just an amazing book, and then I can't speak more highly of it. I would 100% recommend it. So yeah, that is everything that I read this month, I think. If you do like these wrap-ups, please like, subscribe, comment down below. I have to rush off now because my battery's flashing at me and I don't want to run out of time. So I will see you all in my next video, which is likely going to be a vlog because that's all I ever really do. So, see you soon.